grew up such a fan of sports memorabilia and sports cards, and I'm really excited that this show is both going to highlight that as well as the awesome entrepreneurs that make it all possible. Let's do it. This is the guy responsible for basketball, throwing balls into baskets.
Peach baskets.
Peach baskets. So we've got a few basketball items here. I know we have the GOAT, or
my GOAT.
Your GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I grew up in the 90s with Jordan, defeating our Knicks season after season. I hated it at the time.
I'm glad I missed it, honestly. I don't know if I could have contained myself.
It was tough, but you're watching Jordan, looking back on it, it was incredible. It was magic, Not Magic Johnson.
Different magic.
But so we have this is a single sign basketball. You have a nice large Jordan autograph. He's one of the modern guys that actually does give you a nice signature, whereas most of the guys today, it's very quick. It's like a lot of guys would give you a check mark or a circle.
Why do you think that is? We were talking about this before,
right?
But
So it's because the hobby is so commercialized, and it's also because people are chasing these guys to put it on eBay.
Right.
Back in the day, it was people chased for the autographs not because there was a value assigned to it and they could sell it, because they wanted to get Babe Ruth's autograph or Mickey Mantle's autograph because it was cool and was
just to have,
right?
It meant something. Yeah.
So now you go to a hotel lobby, the Yankees are staying there or something, there's gates outside. People are trying to get their photos in, their baseballs. Or whatever.
Any celebrity too.
Yeah, celebrities as well.
Pretty insane.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad. A lot of people fault the celebrities because it's just a check mark or a circle, but they're literally being inundated with autograph requests because the hobby is so commercialized today.
Right, and I think for some of the younger basketball players that even I know, they're getting paid $10, $15 to sign a sticker over and over and over and over again. Sign 2,000 in one sitting. It's like, how do you expect it to be a quality anything?
No, it's not, and it comes out that way.
And it's a giant dude fitting in on a tiny sticker.
Exactly.
That also has to come into play.
Right, totally. So I think going forward, first of all, you bring that autograph to most people, they're going to have no idea who it is, right?
Right.
If it's on a basketball, if it's anything but a photo, if it's on a basketball or something else, you're not going to know who that person is. So for that reason, would you be proud to put that up on your wall or on a shelf? Nobody who walked in would have any idea what that check mark is.
What's the worst signature you've ever seen?
It's all these modern guys. It's equal. It used to be, I remember Thierry Henry, the soccer player.
Yeah.
He came over and played in the Red Bulls in Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was just literally a circle.
Oh man.
But apparently that's good now because
it's great now.
That's what everybody else
gets.
does. It's so sad. None of these I don't think they'll be collectible going forward in the way future, because nobody's gonna look back and be like,
that's
that was
signature.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's ink. Ink is art at the end of the day. So
and
who's your favorite signature?
My favorite signature, and this probably was almost like a cop-out, but it's Mickey Mantle or Babe Ruth. Okay. You can read every letter. And it's beautiful. It's scripted.
Babe has a nice one.
Right, and we'll show some of that in a minute. But it's they were proud to show off their signature, and even Mantle was getting paid in the 80s and 90s because that's when it started.
Yeah.
But he always made sure to give you a good autograph.
You know who I've always liked? Larry Bird.
Yeah, he's got a nice one.
Clean.
Right.
And so no one will ever make him sign a sticker either. So it's always on the actual thing.
Yeah. But I mean, he's from a different era, like Jordan. These guys give you good ink.
Yeah. So we have a UNC team signed ball right here.
Right. So this is really rare. So think about who was getting UNC balls signed by Michael Jordan in the early '80s. I mean, yes, he was great for UNC. I'm not taking anything away from that, but it wasn't even today they don't do a ton of college autographs. But it's way more than it was back then.
Right.
So, I mean, you have some other big stars on here. I think Sam Perkins is on this team. But obviously Jordan's the highlight here. So, do we have, he's right here. So, this is kind of like if you're a huge Jordan fan, you already have a ball. You probably have a Bulls jersey signed by him.
You need some UNC.
And you're like, I want something rare, because you can Google Jordan signed basketballs and you'll find hundreds of listings.
Right.
This, you'll find maybe one or two at any given time.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Does that make the UNC balls worth more than normal basketballs or UNC items in general? Unless it's game worn, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, UNC is obviously, one of the top basketball colleges, so that definitely plays into it. But ultimately, you're buying, UNC Jordan. You're buying the Jordan aspect. So yeah, it's way more valuable than buying, an autograph from today that he signs.
Right. How would a UNC signed jersey compare to a Bulls signed jersey?
Well, they do that today, right? So they'll have Jordan sign some Bulls ones, and they'll have them.
But the fact that's special about this is that he signed at the time.
He signed it at the time, right?
Right.
And that's what's rare.
And that plays.
Yeah,
because
they can give him a ball like this today and sign it, and it's going to be the same value as this.
Right.
But this is, vintage, and we always say whether it's baseball, basketball, whatever the sport is, you always want a playing days autograph, right? That kind of like puts it in perspective.
Yeah, for sure. You want the guy in the moment,
right? Exactly.
After he scored, 70, rather than sitting on his couch.
And if you can date any autographs, especially moments in time, it brings a big.
Not that we don't
premium.
love owner Michael Jordan, because we love him too,
right.
But Bulls Jordan is where it's at.
Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, he signed 90% of the stuff he signs is like this,
It's 8x10.
Well, I just meant Bulls, but yeah, this is an 8x10 photo. Again, another upper deck item, and he's been signing with them
In
since
number
the
45.
90s. Yeah, 45. Right.
That's funny.
Yep.
So we have some baseball items here for any baseball fans. This speaks for itself. Babe Ruth signed ball.
Yeah, I mean, what's better than a Babe? That's probably the most iconic, the first thing everybody wants when they say, I want to collect sports memorabilia. It's a Babe Ruth autograph on a baseball. So that is like the Mona Lisa of collecting.
It's pretty crazy. So how much are Babe Ruth signed balls worth, and how much does it vary based on the
Oh
quality?
yeah, so everything is quality in this business. So this is a single sign baseball. It's graded 8 by PSA, and it's a $60,000 baseball because of the high quality. It's a nice white clean ball.
It's a $60,000 ball?
This is $60,000. Yeah. $60,000 baseball. Now, they've sold as much as $300,000 or $400,000 in auction for what they call a 9 or 9.5 grade. Well, this is pretty rare to have it this quality, which is reflected in the price.
Yeah, like you said, every letter, it's cursive, but very legible.
Oh, completely, yeah. It's, he has one of the best or the best autograph in the business. And then here we have another Ruth autograph, and you can kind of see it better there. It's really clean because it's on a white piece of paper. So this is an autograph, what they call a cut. So it came from like an album page or another, piece of paper. Somebody saw Babe Ruth, threw it in front of his face, and he didn't give a circle or a check mark.
Thank goodness.
Right?
What
would that be worth today?
Right,
if he was doing a circle, like.
Probably still be worth something, but
yeah, but like, how could you even authenticate it? Almost, it's
true.
It's
sad.
How
do you authenticate a circle?
Right.
Wow. So it's pretty clear what we have here.
Yeah.
But how did it happen?
So back in 1996, a company, and it was a great idea, thought to put the 50 greatest living legends autograph piece together at one time. And it was a limited edition run. They did 100 pieces for the public, and then each player got their own. So once in a while, you'll see, a personal copy come out. It'll be one of one, and they're expensive. They're worth like 60 to 75 grand. Those pieces. So here we have one of the original 100. It's a limited edition down here. And what's crazy? So you have the 50 greatest. Obviously, Pistol Pete Maravich is on there, but he died in '88, and this was done in 1996.
Man.
So none of them will have Pete Maravich. And if they do, something's wrong. Doesn't add up.
Right. Yeah, that's an easy way to tell that it's made.
Yeah. Another thing, so it does have 50 autographs, even though there's only 49 players, because you have David Cern, who's a commissioner, who also had just passed recently, and he signed it. So that would be the 50th autograph. And another thing, what's great about this is you saw when I took it out of the roll just now. This hasn't seen the light of day. The guy who owned this unrolled it maybe like once or twice, and he had just kept it in that tube forever. So a lot of times these get hung up on walls, they get touched a lot, and they get marks or they fade or whatever. This is as original as possible.
Wow.
Yeah, rarely ever seen the light of day. And of course, anybody who was a star in 1996 and earlier is on here. Even including Shaq, who was only 3 or 4 years into the league at that time.
Yeah, he's very young in the photo.
Yeah, and kind of interesting that they would put a current player who's really young on one, because who knows how he's going to turn out.
He must be the youngest player on here.
I would think, yeah.
They were pretty confident in Shaq, though.
Pre-1990, before it was over-commercialized, they all had really nice signatures. And this was a special piece, too. Even if they had a quick signature, they were going to give it the nice one for this. This was an important piece at the time to me.
Really?
Yeah, this was a big deal. And it shows. Everybody did put care and love into their autograph.
This was a big deal because they were honored, and this was for the NBA. And
right,
they only
exactly.
did 100 of them.
They only did 100 of them, and then they each got one. And it was a prized possession. It wasn't like going to an autograph signing today where, they just lay out everything for you and you got to sign as much as you can in a few hours. But it's one of those impressive pieces. They've hung in museums before.
Not that it's the trickiest of tasks to sign your name in 3 inches of white paper, but I would feel the pressure.
They've done harder things. They've had more pressure, all these guys here.
So what is this, something like this worth?
So these are crazy. So I was saying before, if it's a one-of-one piece from a personal, Jabbar's just went for $75,000 in auction. So these are more common. There's 100, so they're not common by any means.
Player one is where one player's face is big in the middle, and that item was for them, or who did that?
It was same, just like this, but it was one of one. It was their personal card.
Oh, got it.
But these regularly go in auction anywhere from 25 to 30, sometimes more, sometimes less. But basically, it's a $25,000 to $30,000 piece. $25,000 to $30,000.
Sheesh.
So just like basketball, football doesn't have this long storied history, like baseball does.
Yeah.
So when we go vintage, we're talking about 50s, 60s, and this is a original worn sweater from Vince Lombardi. It doesn't get more class.
Justin's a big football fan.
Yeah. So it doesn't get more iconic. Let's turn it around here first. You have the big Packers here. So it doesn't get more iconic than Lombardi with football. The trophy's named after him,
That it is.
Right. He's like.
Still got a little tag on it.
That's the authenticity tag.
Oh, it is?
On the inside.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it has wear, but very limited wear here.
Wear is good though, no?
Yeah, totally.
If it's worn?
So for game used, game used bats, game used uniforms and stuff, the more dirt, the more wear, the better. However, if it goes too far, for a game used bat, for example, if it breaks or there's a crack in it, it takes away.
So there's like this weird threshold.
It's a weird threshold. You want it so used, but it's not broken. Yeah.
What about jerseys?
And jerseys, it's like the same thing. You don't want any repairs. So you want it to be as original as possible. But a lot of times, especially on vintage stuff, they would repair them, and Mickey Man will go out wear the same pants the next day if he had a big hole in it. They would just patch him up.
Right.
But you want them.
Whereas now they will literally have players change jerseys at halftime or at the end of a first quarter.
I know, it's so
and in baseball, they change the bases every 3 innings so that they can sell more of them.
It's over commercialized. Same thing with the autographs. Same thing with this stuff.
The jersey thing is ridiculous though.
It's
I look online on the NBA auction site, and it's like first half worn jersey from Trae Young. First half.
And it got even worse that a lot of the card companies that do the inserts with the patches now, they say they're game-used jerseys, but they're also player-worn. And
player-worn means events.
Events.
So they'll take a jersey that a player wore in a photo shoot.
Literally put it on, take it right off.
So you need to see player-worn. I mean, you need to see game
used, but they're very tricky and they're vague the way they purposely do this. And it's kind of, who knows how this stuff is going to last long-term.
Right.
So what's cool about this is where it came from, the provenance. So this came from the son of the former Redskins owner. And why did he have it? Because Lombardi, after his tenure here for the Green Bay Packers, he was a Redskins coach for 1 year. So the son writes this long letter and explains the story. He's like, my dad had just hired Vince Lombardi to coach the Redskins, and we're watching the Super Bowl with him. He just flew in from Green Bay. He came over and he's wearing this on purpose to bust his dad, as a joke. And so his dad's fighting back with him. You got to take that off. You're a Redskin now. And a week later, in the mail, this arrived, and they've had it in the family since. And he just parted with it a couple years ago.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So not only the authentication, but provenance is important as well.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier. You just want a very clear story.
Right.
You just want to feel as good about it as possible.
Exactly. But you have to be careful about the made up ones and the add-ons to the stories. But
for sure. No, this is very cool.
So he had a jersey that's sold in auction from West Point. A lot of people don't know. He was an assistant coach at West Point before he went to the New York Giants as a defensive coordinator and then head coach of the Packers. So when he was like I think he was a line coach at West Point, that jersey recently sold, or that sweater from West Point that he wore recently went for $50,000. And that's just as a line coach and as a college coach.
That's pretty crazy.
So this is the big one.
Very cool. Thank you, man. All this stuff has been amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
this is what we do. I hope you come back soon.
Yeah,
We're
we'll do
always
it every
getting
month.
new
Let's do it.
inventory, so we're happy to show it off.
No, this will come out sweet.
Yeah.
Peace.